Hello, hello. I think testing, testing, one, two, three. Is anyone here? Peace YouTube. Let me know if you're here. I don't see the chat. Am I supposed to see the chat? Let me know by commenting. I have a new technology and I can't tell if you're here or not. Okay, there we go. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Hey, on. Hey, everybody. Check on in. Yeah, I have a new phone, so I'm trying to see. Can you hear me okay? Can everybody hear me okay? Testing, testing, one, two, three. Yeah, perfect. Okay. You know what? I'm not. Usually when I get new technology, I just I gotta test it out. Okay. Perfect. Hey Yafi. Hey lovies. Okay, check on in. This is I don't want to say it's I have a message. I had contact last week and I had contact I would say, well, it's not last night, like in the rising. And it's I you'll take it as you should. I don't want to judge it because it's pretty intense and it's telling why all these events are happening right now. So check on in. We'll wait until we get to 500 and then we'll get in. And also for those who are going to, watch the circus, the Barnum and Bailey's America Fraud Circus, if you're deciding to participate in the biggest fraud of probably your lifetime. We'll be having a watch party, music. We'll just be laughing. If you do popcorn, we'll be doing it on the November 5th. So if you want to join our Zoom, you're more than welcome to come. It's going to be hilarious. Okay, so if you want to join the shenanigans, it's going to be a whole bunch of us. We do it all the time anyway. So, but we're going to have a watch party. We're going to have music. We're gonna be up all night. We're gonna be laughing. We're gonna be, talking about the Mr. Kamala and the League of Doom, and then we're gonna be talking about, the Dark Knight, well, the Red Knight, which is Trump. So y'all are always welcome to join us on the Zoom on November 5th. It's gonna be a full-on watch party. We're coming in early. We're shenanigan. We like to play around, so if you wanna join, it's gonna be a lot of fun. If you're already on, Patreon, you're gonna be with us anyway. So, we'll be starting early, get some rest. It's gonna be hilarious. You're gonna see the biggest I have a prediction already. I'll give it to you at the end, and it's just based on the astrology, the Chinese astrology that, we'll talk about. So just remind me at the end to give you my prediction. My prediction is not based on who I want because really in itself, I told you, both entities or what's being presented to you is the same. It's just, some people get it a different way. So sometimes you like to get it, you're going to get it one way. It's going to be the same thing, but it's going to feel different. Okay. So, if you want to get it from Mr. Kamala with a butt plug, you'll get it that way. If you want to get it from like the flaming towers, you'll get it from Trump. So regardless of anything, y'all, it's gonna be interesting. So check on him. Almost at 500. I have a very important message. I really yes, Joe G already. Joe G, you already know, right? I told Joe G, you already made my prediction, and it's based on her Chinese astrology and why they pushed she up. I don't know what it is. I doubt she has I think she has balls between her legs. But anyway, that's just I don't want to get into that now. We'll get into that in a minute. We're almost at 500. Okay. I can see you. I can see you, Sandra. Sandra, I can see you. Okay. Um, Again, we'll have our watch party November 5th. You can join us on Zoom. Come in Patreon. We gonna be having music. It's gonna be all night shenanigans. They said that they're not gonna be a deliberation for 2 weeks. You already know they in it to win it, y'all. You know what I mean? Oh, thank you, Yafi. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna get in, y'all. Um, I'm just trying to think how I should give you this message. um, so let me start off with what happened. Some of you know already. I think some I'm not sure. I I talk to a lot of people. So I think some of you on YouTube know already or some from Zoom already know. I had made contact last week. Now, it was another contact. Let me start from the beginning. Oh, let me say this. Peace to the east, the west, the north, south. This is Florone coming to you today with a new topic of discussion. Check on it. um, like I said, this message is I had contact. I made contact last week and I made contact this rising, which is what would be last night. But it's major for me to get up. I'm kind of just like groggy a little bit. It's still early for me here. Um, it started from last week. Some of you know that my phone I had I had weird messages coming to my phone. Now, some of you've known me over the years, you know I'm a contactee. I've been in contact with Galactics from a baby since before I came. You can go back through my YouTube videos. I really can't. It would be too long for me to go through my resume. If you know me, you know me. So go back through my resume. Some people don't come to me as a contactee now. It's kind of strange because that's my job. That's my sector. So last week, well, it was really started 2 weeks ago. I was getting weird kind of phone calls. Okay. Not robocalls, but oh, the helicopters. I haven't heard. Yo, they tried to stop this 2 times, y'all. I haven't heard a helicopter since I've been here. Yo, they already started. You hear it? This is reminding me of Florida, y'all. Welcome to what used to happen in Florida. If anybody of you remembers, the black helicopters, it's because I'm not supposed to. I don't care. Okay, so Um, hmm, it's the first time it's happened since I've been on the live here. Anyway, last a couple weeks, maybe like 2 weeks ago, I was getting weird random calls. It wasn't robocalls, but there were like weird calls, like just uh like sounds in the background, weird space kind of calls or spacey kind of calls, just weird calls. So I decided to change my number. So I changed my number, took my old number off, and then all of a sudden, um, my phone kind of exploded. When I say exploded, it kind of glitched out. It like bammed out. Now, many of you know about contactees or abductees. You know that many of the times, whenever you have contact, it usually messes with your electronics. Your car battery will die, your watches will die, your phones will blow up. I mean, contactees is it's very reminiscent of the type of contact with either interdimensionals. First of all, personally I know now that what we perceive to be inter extraterrestrials is a form of interdimensional extraterrestrial kind of these are entities coming from other dimensions that we perceive as extraterrestrials. It's just kind of like the terminology kind of evolves over time when you understand what you're dealing with. So, um needless to say, I had some weird things happen on the phone. Many of the contact when I was in Brazil, many of you know the contact I was having on the phone with the messages. You can always look at my IG and look at the cryptic messages that I was getting from Brazil for like good over a year. And then many of you know about the messages I was getting by email through something that was contacting me from 1969. And I had a time traveler come in. Anyway, you can always look into I don't want to kind of go in there. I'm just giving you a baseline of kind of like a touch of what is similar to what happened and is happening now. So, changed my number, the phone kinda blew up, it exploded. I was out of the country for a little bit, and the phone when I came back blew up. Now, there was something weird that happened out of the country, but I'm not gonna talk about that because 'cause I'm not privy to speak about other people who brought other experiences, and that's just because their privacy, unless they wanna come out and speak about it here, I would be okay with them talking about it, but I don't wanna bring up something that's tied to into them. Um, so needless to say, I didn't have a phone for, like, 2 weeks. Many of you know, the Zombies laugh at me because I thought I could deal okay, but I was kind of like I figured I wouldn't get another phone because of the inception, but then, I had a rotary phone, an old-fashioned rotary phone connected to can everybody hear me okay? I'm just kinda talking about it. I'm gonna give you the message, but I wanna give you the back talk about it. Can everybody hear me? Okay, because they tried to stop this live 2 times before I started, y'all. Just a FYI to give you some more reasoning why this message is probably going to be very interesting because oh, the phone is alright. I hope this phone is a brand new phone, y'all. It might blow up too. Like, it's doing some weirdness, right? Okay. Alright. I'm a little jitsi. Um, so I didn't have a phone for like 2 weeks, which is fine. Remember, I'm a we're Xers, Generation Xers. We didn't have phones. We were like feral. We were like animals on the street. Our parents didn't know where we were as long as we came home for dinner before the lights went out and dim. We were good. So I'm kind of feral. So you kind of any Gen Xers in here, big up to the Gen Xers. We were like feral animals, just running the streets. As long as we had a couple dollars to get some drinks. Some soda, soda pop or juice. You know what I'm saying? Popsicles. It was mostly popsicles over the summertime. So many of you know we were just like wild animals. Okay. So, when you say to me, oh, Flipper, why you act because I'm a Gen Xer. Like my mom was just happy I came home at night. You know what I mean? We weren't monitored. We didn't have cameras watching us. We don't have any proof of the behavior patterns or naughty behavior we had. We were kind of just wild. Okay. Just FYI. Okay. So I gotta get to the message. Okay, so I have a phone in my house and I connected it to the wall, your old fashioned phones, your rotary phones, right? So I figured I'll have the rotary phone on, but it wasn't turned on. I had an old fashioned phone, like old French, uh, like rotary phone, very pretty. You know, the old fashioned phones, you turn the dial, it's like one, two, it turns in a circle. I have it connected to the wall. So many of you know, like during this time around closest to Halloween, the veil is really wide open. So many of you know my father had transitioned a couple years ago, and so did my grandmother, very close. And also my father-in-law, which is my ex-husband's father, who I'm very close to, they generally tend to contact me around this time. So I was kind of excited that maybe the phone went down for a reason and maybe I just need a break. So maybe it's just a sign, it's blowing up. So I didn't really think too much of it, the calls, but um, I connected it and I figured I would use that phone as a way, as almost like a spirit box, like spirit communication. And I would, if they wanted to call me and give a message this year, I would have that available to them. So I remember picking up the phone. There wasn't a line on it. I just said, if you want to contact me, to my grandmother, my dad, or my father-in-law, or my aunt, whoever my family members, I was open to that, communication. And the phones do that. The rotary phones. That's why they got rid of all the rotary phones, y'all. You know that, right? There was a video on, and they did a really good take on why all the booths. Remember the phone booths we used to have back around the way? All the phone booths, they got rid of it. Yo, that's weird. Hold on. Yo. Oh, this is so reminiscent of Florida, y'all. Okay. It's starting. And this is why I think they don't contact me like they used to, because whenever they do, they send the helicopters came already on this live. They stopped the live 2 times, and then this weirdo, some weird looking man is walking by. Don't worry, I got something for him. I got something for everybody. Um, okay. All right, I'm sorry, y'all. Um, if you're new to my channel, welcome to the previous Flurbrone. If you were with me for a long time, do remember, I'm packing lunches all day and all night. Thank you, Larry, and you already know what time it is. Remember, many of you know that this is very reminiscent of what used to happen in Florida when I was getting heavy contact. I haven't had contact like this in a while, especially since I moved. But let me not get distracted. Okay. Yo, everything is happening. Yo, I don't know. Yo, the neighbor just opened up their garage like halfway, like a quarter way. Oh, it's on and popping, y'all. Oh my God, it's happening. I can't believe it's been a while. So I'm not used to doing this anymore because it's been a while. The neighbor has their garage open like a quarter way. Anyway, yes, I'm paranoid for those who are new to me. Okay, let me get to I'm sorry, y'all. Maybe I shouldn't have made this so early. Okay. Um, so I had the phone hooked up to the wall. Many of you, we talk about the phone booths, right? The phone booths that have all disappeared. Okay. Now, I'm safe, but being safe doesn't mean you shouldn't be observant. Like people used to be like, why are you so paranoid? Being safe is being observant. So I'm not gonna sit here and see a whole weirdo and people doing weird things around me and just ignore it. That's not safe. Safe is like you paying attention to your environment, and if there's any, weird kind of things going on, you already see it. Yeah, people be like, why are you scared? It's not being scared, it's being observant. I'm not an idiot. Well, at least not today. Okay. Um So many of the phone booths have disappeared. Now, if you've watched The Matrix, you do understand and understand that The Matrix, there was someone who did a video and I saw it. I don't know if it was today or yesterday or the day before. I know I shared it, I think. But anyway, no, I didn't share it because I just got my phone. But many of you remember the phone booths, and in one of the scenes in The Matrix, when Trinity has to go to the phone booth, and the one of the Smithitarians is taking over a body of a trucker. And remember, the Smiths can, morph into anybody. That's why I say if you're in the Matrix, anybody could be a Smithitarian. Your neighbor could be a Smithitarian like that. Anybody could be because because they're asleep. Anyone could be hijacked. That's basically what it is. So remember when she was trying, oh, I shared it. I shared it, right? Okay, so I shared it. I think I shared it today. So remember when Trinity had to go answer the phone because that's how she was able to get back out of the Matrix? One of the Andersons took over a truck driver, and he's revving it, and there's one phone booth, and she has to go to that phone booth to get to her, to get out of the Matrix. And he starts revving the truck. Woo, woo. And she's looking at it like, I got to get out of this piece, right? And she takes that chance. She runs to the phone booth to pick up the phone, and that mother freaker went to go drive it over. Okay. So, but, it's kind of like that in here. They took away the phone booths because the frequencies that can be transmitted through the phone booths, you can have easier interface. And also, phone booths are a form of interdimensional traveling. So, like, closets in your room, like when you see the spirits or things, because most of the houses are made of like boxes, right? Cubes. Most of your houses are cubes, unless you have a round house or living in something that's more Middle Easterners and Africans and indigenous tend to make their houses either round, or Germans or Europeans like from Norway. They make triangular houses or they make round houses. But unfortunately, because we're living in the United Fakes and we're living in a cube, most people are living at with angles in their house. And that's where you get a lot of possession. A lot of entities tend to stay in the corners, in your closets, in your square closets. A lot of entities can sit or be manifested or use them as portals, right? You know this, right? So, and that's why the Jews, when they do the whole, the Orthodoxy rabbis, the rabbinical practitioners, they have the black cube on their foreheads, right? When they're doing their prayer, right? They're going like this and they got the black cube, okay? That's the cube of Saturn, right? They worship Saturn, the Centaurians. They worship the Centaurians, which are big black extraterrestrials. And you've heard me talk about this, right? Okay. The Ringmakers of Saturn. If you've not read the book, it's so expensive now. I have the book. One day I'll do a little read for you guys. It's by um, um, Norman Brugman. Norman Brugman. Many of you know it's called The Ringmakers of Saturn. If you can get the book or the PDF, I mean, it would behoove you to really read the book because it will tell you a lot about what I'm speaking of. And in this one, he made an account. He was on Carrie Cassidy's show, Project Camelot. Many of you can look back at that old video she made. They may have taken it off now, but all of you who are from the extraterrestrial, exo politics or metaphysical community should remember that one video that uh uh Carrie Cassidy made when she did an interview with Norman Brugman about his contact with the tall blacks. Okay, I say it like that because she tried to play us on that video. That's when I had beef with her. Many of you remember back in the days when I first came on YouTube. You remember I had beef with her because she tried to play it off like there weren't black extraterrestrials. I don't like using that word, but you understand carbon extraterrestrials, D carbon black type of extraterrestrials. Remember that? So when she interviewed him, she asked him what he saw coming off of the ships, and he saw. This is all relative to the contact I had, y'all. So if I'm going all over the place, it's really relative. Okay. She saw a tall, like he saw. Norman Brooklyn said he saw a tall black coming off of a craft. It was like over 8 feet or 7 feet. I think it was 7 or 8 feet tall or taller. I gotta watch the video, but he said it was very tall and it had a turban on, the Moors. And she said, "Oh," he said they were black. And she was like, "Oh, brown." That's what pissed me off. "Oh, brown." No, he corrected her and he said, "Black." Like, when someone's disgusted and they're trying to let you know, no, chick, black. It's the funniest thing in the world. You remember that? Yo, you gotta watch the video. And I always talk about that, right? Um, It's relative to this message. That's why I said I don't know how you're gonna take the message, okay? Um, and there were these extraterrestrials that came many years ago. I think even, I'm not a fan of Wilcock. Wilcock talked about them. There were many different different types of whistleblowers that are in the exopolitics or the the UFO community who spoke about these group of so-called African looking soldiers, like, that came here to Earth, and, um, they were met by a lot of the governmental officials, and I'm not sure I know definitely they're in contact with North Korea. North Korea had contact with them, Russia had contact with them, what other country? I know America had contact with them. There were a few governments that they had come upon these beings, and one of the American governmental officials said he has never seen in his life black black men that have never been conquered, and it frightened them. And they said that they would come. They were going to come back, and this is part of what I'm going to share, y'all. So And if any of you have concerns about this, just look at the concept of the Olmec heads. You really, I mean, it really is just ignorant when you see Olmec heads in every single country, including there's more Olmec heads in the Americas than there even was in Africa. And that is crazy that people don't know that. Like even people who are deep into the UFO community, like how can you explain that away? They have my nose, dark black with cornrows and these helmets on to protect their skulls from the traveling through interdimensionally. Okay? So I'm just saying they were covering in Virginia. Remember the one I shared with you many years ago? Well, you probably saw it when Dr. Delbert Blair, one of his last interviews he had with a truck driver who was driving in Virginia, right? And Virginia, he was a truck driver and he was a brown truck driver, but he took over for a Luna guy. So the Luna guy called in. I think he was sick. He wasn't feeling well. So called his homie, who's a brown guy. He was like, "Yo, can you take over my route?" And he said, "Yeah." So he took over his route and it was in Virginia. And this brown truck driver never had this route before. And when he took the route, he had to take a truck and he came upon this huge opening in Virginia. Like it was an underground, like, like maybe like a tunnel. And he just took the route and he went in this tunnel. He's never seen this before. And this was on Block Talk Radio with Dr. Delbert Blair, one of his last interviews. Okay. And the truck driver's driving through and it's underground and there's like there's signs like to turn this way. No, he's never seen anything like it. And as he's driving through, he's seeing these big black Olmec heads. Listen to me, not brown, not pink, not green, not blue. Big black Olmec heads, like huge, like megaliths that were being covered by concrete. So the governments had actually built an entire underground facility, tunneling system to cover up all the remnants of pyramids and Olmec heads. Okay? So I just wanted to add that because I want to give you a layer of some things so I don't want you to be fearful because this message may make you a little fearful depending on who you are and how you feel about black people, melanated people, carbonated people, the nine ether people, because it's going to be a message that I'm a little concerned for because it's not something I've I haven't ever had contact with these beings before, ever, ever. Normally I'm in contact with the Andromedans, some insectilians, other like I've had contact with different types of beings. This is not a contact I would have ever initiated or even thought I would have had. Okay, so and please don't think that these are anybody's people because some of us have their DNA in us, but a lot of us don't. And that's why the message is going to be very disturbing to some. And I'm just letting you know, and I'm telling you, it's 1000% going to happen and is happening now. So I say this to you, it isn't to put fear in you. Please, if you can take, and I'm going to give you FYI, if you cannot take this message, it's contact y'all. I haven't even got to it. I'm just giving you a baseline because I'm trying to breadcrumb you in. Like, because this is not something I don't even think I'm qualified to tell you this. Like, I don't even know why they would want to contact me of all people. I just, I shouldn't judge it, but sometimes I think, why do certain beings want to contact me? Because the message is not going to be good for a lot of people. And let me just explain for those who are Negrotarians who feel like just because they're brown, they're you. You're very under mind control. Not everything that has brown skin is you. There are a lot, just like I wouldn't say to a German man, "Hey, you're a Scotty." I wouldn't say to a Scottish man, "Hey, you're an Englishman." Like there's a lot of mental illness that goes into being brown because of all of the psyops and the social engineering that makes brown people think that everything that is brown is them. You need to come together and really get some wits about you. It's not true. And these beings are a lot of you are not mixed with them. I think 99% of you aren't, because the message that they're coming with is not, uh it isn't going to be a happy-go-lucky message. You being brown does not make you um, does not give you a pass with this message. Okay, so if you feel uncomfortable with the message so far, just log off because it's not gonna be a good message. They're here, y'all. They're here and it's not good. And a lot of what you're seeing here with the politics is a cover up for what's happening in forms of assassinations that are going to happen, and they're happening as we speak. Okay. So, it's not a negative message. I listen, I didn't say it's a negative message. Some people's perception is how you perceive it. Like, I could say to you, "The sky is gray," and you'd be like, "Oh my god, that's terrible," and you'd be like, "Oh, there's rain coming. It's great. My plants need flowers." I mean, you understand? So, to one person, a gray sky can mean, "Oh, it's gonna rain. I don't have to water my grass today. The trees are gonna water. They were looking a little dry." That could be a positive message for one, and great to another. Be like, "Oh, I was going to a wedding, that freaking cloud is gonna ruin the wedding because it's gonna rain." You understand? So, it's really upon you, okay? What did you say, Jesse Bear? You could get out of here. Don't tell me how to talk and don't tell me how to share my messages. Imma block you. I don't like when you talk to me like that. You're not in a position to tell me how to speak or share my message. If I'm taking too long, then the message isn't for you. Okay? You can leave. If you feel like I'm taking too long, this message is for those who have the patience, the fortitude, and have been with me for a long time. So you know my style of speech. I'm not the type to just pop things out. I give you references and I'm a chatty box. Okay? So if you don't like it, I'm gonna just pause and take a little longer. So for those who don't even have patience because you've been being on TikTok and you have 30-second videos and you're used to people giving you messages like in 20 seconds because they've been editing, I'm not the one. Okay. I'm a melanated person, a mother from Mount Vernon, New York. I'm Creole. Don't play with me. Okay. All right. They're gonna come because of the contact, y'all. All right. Um, so my phone broke down. I talked to the phone, my phone that's connected to the house. It's not turned on. It's an old-fashioned phone. And I left a message saying, "Hey, if my mom, my dad, my grandma, any of my ancestors want to call me, you can." Okay? So that night I was busy. I'm not going to give my personal business. The Zombies know more of the personal aspect of this message, but I got to give you what happened, the initial contact. I was busy doing something and I had an incident in my room where something was tapping on my window. Now, my windows are huge, it overlooks a beautiful mountain, and I had tapping. Now, mind you, I'm not on the base floor of my house, I'm on the top floor of my house. Okay. So something was tapping on my window. I got a little scared. This is after the phone incident, the phone blowing up, all that weirdness that happened, didn't have a phone. So I went to talk to my mom and say, "Hey, it's kind of weird. I'm getting like tapping on my window. There's nothing out there." And I'm talking about tapping like nails. Like, somebody with long nails is like tap, 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 like that, like a nail tapping on the window. Okay. Um, so uh if it wasn't connected to service, oh, no, the phone wasn't connected to service because I was using it as a spirit box because it's around Halloween. So you can have contact with your ancestors through spirit boxes or things like that, and phones, especially old rotary phones. Remember back in the days, you could get messages on the phones. That's why they took all the phone booths away. This is my opinion. I think that's why. Okay, so I heard tapping on the window. It's dark. And I just thought to myself, "It's a little creepy." I went to talk to my mom, and then I went out to do something and came back, okay? So, when I came back, I had the same tap on my window again, and I didn't wanna give it any. I'm not fearful because 'cause I'm in contact with things, so I kind of just, I heard the tap earlier, kinda went to my mom to kinda diffuse it a little bit, and I was like, I'm gonna just ignore it because if you don't invite anything in, it's like if you ever watched Salem's Lot, anybody of you watched a vampire show called Salem's Lot, the movie? Remember when the vampires used to knock on the window, like, tap on the window, and they would wanna get inside the house? That's how they would do is, like, tapping because they need an invitation anyway. So once the tapping happened again, there was this flash, like a big flash, like a white flash, like like that, a big flash, and then a purple light after it, like a echo, like purple light, like almost like in a spiral, came off of the white light in the back. But it was a flash, like a white flash, like psh. Like you ever remember we used to take cameras, the old Kodak cameras? Many of you remember the Kodak cameras. You take a picture and it'll be like that huge flash. It was kind of like that, a huge flash, but there was an echo, a purple, like a purple um s- uh uh spiral in the back of it. Okay, so I saw that and I was a little nervous. Now, Babette, many of you know Babette. Babette's my doggy. That's my lassie. She's a rough collie. She was going around my bed back and forth. Now, none of the other dogs did anything. She was just going back and forth, um, uh, just around my bed. She was pacing around my bed. And then the phone rang. The phone that's not connected, the old-fashioned phone that's downstairs, the phone rang. And when I've never let me explain to you, y'all. I haven't ever in my life this is my grandmother's old, like, xylophone-looking phone. This phone I've never heard it ring in my life, my entire life. I don't even know what the ring would have sounded like. I never listen, could you imagine? Okay, so now the tapping earlier, went downstairs to talk to my mother, tapping again, like a sharp nail. Pow, pow, okay? A flash of light and purple spirals. Then the phone rings. I don't know, maybe like 30 seconds after the flash, maybe 40. I wasn't timing it. Babette is going back and forth like she's really agitated, but none of the other dogs are doing it. So I hear the phone ring, never heard the ring, and I have an echo in my house because the house has high ceilings. Ring. I'm thinking to myself, oh my God. Now, I've had a lot of different contact, but remember, I asked for a phone call. So I know I gotta answer the call. Okay. So I get out of the bed. Babette is really funky. She does not want me to walk forward. She's trying to block. Now, I don't understand why my other dogs didn't react. Now, this is why I think it was an ether base that this happened. I'm going to go into that. So I gotta go downstairs. Babette is trying to block my walking. It's still ringing. Bring. The whole house is echoing. No one's reacting to it in the house. I got a house full of people acting brand new, like they've never heard. Nobody's reacting to the call. So as soon as I get to the bottom of the step, the ringing stops. And I'm thinking to myself, when you ask for something, you're like, I don't know if I want to hear. I said to myself, "I don't know that I really wanna hear what's on that line." So I end up thinking for a moment, but I'm a Sag, so I'm like, "I gotta push through it." I asked for a phone call. I can't not answer. The phone's not ringing anymore. I gotta make that phone so you gotta push through it. So this is, like, how you feel as you're going through it. So I go Babette is trying to block me from walking. None of the other dogs are reacting. No one's getting up in the house. This is late. I go to the phone. I pick up the phone, put it to my ear. It's an old fashioned, so it's got the big bottom and the little skinny part and the thing. I pick up the phone, I hesitate for a minute. I pick up the phone, put it to my ear, and that sharp ringing sound just I can't even I don't know if I could like many of you heard about the contact I had many years ago with the ringing in my ear when the things bit my neck. It's that sound, like a high pitched sound. It just right into my ear. And when I heard the sound, I woke up in my bed. Okay. And I want to go further, but I don't want to keep you too long. I want to give further because that was the first contact I had. I had no memory of anything. I didn't have memory of getting in the bed. I don't know how I got in the bed. The sound came on my ear. I can remember it clear as day. And I'm talking about how could you, like, if you've ever had a procedure, like gone on anesthesia, it's kind of like you're awake and then you're asleep like that. And you don't remember even going to sleep. You're just waking up in bed. That's what it felt like. Okay. So I wake up in bed. And I don't have any thoughts of anything, I don't have memory of anything, and that night, it was still kinda dark. Well, it's like the twilight of rising, so it's still very early. I don't have a concept of time because I remember I was thinking, "Did I lose time? I didn't have any because I didn't look at any I didn't have a phone because normally we look at our phone for ti I have a clock on my of old-fashioned clock on my dresser, but I didn't look at it, so I have no context, so if you ask me what time it was, if you ask me how many hours, I can't tell you. I had zero concept of time. None. I can't. Usually I document everything. I can't tell you. So I woke up in bed. So I had gone back to bed a little bit afterwards, kind of just trying to figure it out in my mind. And when I went back to bed, I woke up in water, breathing. Like I was in a body of water in my dream. This is not in real, this is just a dream state. I woke up in a body of water, breathing in the water. I dreamt of this many times. Many times we talked about the mermaid people and so on, and telling you that you had a connection to the mer people when you are able to breathe in water. But in this dream, when I woke up after this incident, I woke up and I was in a body of water. I have no concept of where the body of water was. There was nothing at the bottom of the I was at the bottom of a waterway. I don't know if it was the ocean. I don't know if it was a lake. I don't know if it was a pool. But I did wake up in water and I was breathing. And I was aware, I was lucid in the dream state, aware that I was breathing underwater and thinking to myself, why would I be here? Because I don't see anything around. And then I woke up. Okay. I brought this up because that was the first form of contact. Now, at first, I wouldn't say it was contact, but I knew something made contact over that phone, that landline that was in my house. Okay. My brand new phone is getting hot, y'all. Holy cow. This is how the other phone broke up. I think they're messing with my phone. Hold on. This is what they did last time. My phone is like burning up, y'all. Okay, I'll tell you the rest. I'm gonna turn it off. It's a brand new phone, y'all. I just got it yesterday. I gotta turn it off before it blows up. You know, all the it's a lithium battery. They're probably triangulating my phone after they put the helicopter, probably putting all kinds of rays on it. All right, so let's go into last night. Last night was fine. I had done some things. I was socializing yesterday, so it's not on a charger, Susu. No, it's a brand new phone. It's not. This is what happened to the other phone. They're doing something to my phone. It's random. It's just something they're doing. It's a brand new phone. Like I said, I just had it yesterday. I just got it turned on. Um, yeah, I believe that Darina, I believe that whatever happened with Babette was astral only because of the other dogs not reacting and nobody paying attention to the phone. Okay, so last night, I was socializing and so on, and I went to go do something outside. And I can't get too personal because it's a house. I don't have a right to bring up other people's business in my house or whatever. So, I was, it was I think it was around, I don't know what time. Maybe around 1 a.m. Maybe maybe I didn't document it, so I'm just assuming based on. So I was outside, and then I went outside because I went outside and I heard the coyotes. So sometimes I just want to see where where they're barking from. It's like a family of coyotes, um, and I was listening to them just barking and howling, and I always want to investigate because I hear them lately. So I just wanted to listen to them. Um, so I came to the side door and I heard what sounded like ringing, but I didn't really pay attention because I'm awake. I'm fully awake. I'm not in bed. I'm nothing. I'm just no, it's not like the other night when it was kind of like ambiguous. And I thought I heard ringing, but I just went to go further to the gate to listen to the coyotes. And as soon as I heard whatever was sounding like a ring, the coyotes just suddenly stopped, like abruptly. Like they went from like, it was inorganically. Like they were howling, um, like, like they have a different sound, like crying almost, that it's a whole family of them. So they get must be pups with them and so on. So I was listening intently, and at the time that little sound of what sounded like ringing started, all of a sudden, when I went further to the gate, I heard the coyotes like mid stop howling, like if something frightened them, like mid stop, like stop, like in the middle, like oh, like that, all of them. And I'm standing there thinking, "That's odd. Did they see something? Is something bothering them out there? Because they just stopped." And I'm thinking to myself, maybe something, so I'm thinking if something scared them, I need to look around if there's a bigger predator. I don't know what feeds on coyotes, so, I don't have a concept of it. Looking around, maybe something else is messing with them, so I'm looking. I don't see anything. So I hear it again, but this time because they stopped howling, I could hear the phone. And mind you, now I have a new phone, but my phone is not, there's no sound on it. I don't have a ringer yet because I haven't put anything really on it, just the buzzing. No, my phone is hot as heck, y'all. Holy cow. It's a brand new iPhone, y'all. The six is the new one. It's hot as heck, y'all. Okay. I'm gonna make this quick and then I'm gonna get off with y'all. Um They stop, I hear the ringing, so I know it's not my phone, and I went to go open the door, and there's ringing on the phone. Now it's fully ringing. So I already know that whatever contacted me before, this is in real time. It's not, can't say it's astral or anything. Whatever is on there is trying to and whatever startled those dogs, I could put that together in my mind logically. So whatever startled the dogs outside was calling most likely on that phone. And I live by mountains. Okay. So I'm looking over the mountains a little bit. I go in the house and I go and I answer the phone. Now when I answer the phone this time, there was nothing. And then I could hear like music, like a type of old old music, like harps, like not harp, but can't explain it, like string music that's being plucked, like old kind of sounding music, but old fashioned, almost like I don't know, like in old movies, like Zanzibar or something, like old Egyptian music or Middle Eastern music, kind of like that, like just sounds of like, and it's in a distance on the phone, and I'm listening intently. Now, mind, and let me remind everyone, no, the phone is not connected. The phone is not connected. And this time, my children heard the phone. So it's not like this is in my imagination. This is not something, but there's something on the phone. It's some sort of sounds that's on the phone. I'm listening intently and I'm hearing like whispering, like something talking, but whispering in the back, like maybe around the music, maybe like inside the music, but like whispering. And then my third eye started to pulsate. So I'm thinking, "Oh, snap, they're gonna give me a stroke." He was like, "The government." I don't know, y'all. I just, you always think things like that. Like, I'm like, the government is probably a psyop. Like the government's messing with me. When my third eye started pulsating, I'm thinking to myself, it might be the dark ops. Like they're sending frequencies to me and they might try to kill me. I know I shouldn't think that, but when you get a physical reaction like that, when you start getting pulsating in your third eye, like a pulse, but fast pulse, all of a sudden, and I don't put the phone down, I almost can't, really, and I'm hearing the music, I'm hearing some sort of whispering, and then there's, like, a weird kinda the pulsating in my forehead starts to slow, and then the sound and the talking became one, like, the music and the voice became one. Almost like the music wasn't real, it was a voice, but maybe because my brain didn't have the capacity to decipher it, whatever was on the phone was calibrating me to be able to hear the voice, like recalibrating me to interpret them, like telepathy. Maybe I didn't have the capacity. I thought it might have been a stroke or something because, at first I was like, "Oh, yeah, this might be it." The government is doing this, it's right before an election. Yeah, it might be the end. But as the slowing happened, I could hear a voice, and it wasn't a woman's voice. It was a man's voice. So, I get a little concerned because I'm with the phone, the children are looking at me, I can hear them saying, "Mom, what's happening? What's happening? Something on the phone?" And I'm just going like this because I don't want them to get scared, you know what I mean? Um, and as the slowing of that bup, 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 and when I say that, it's like, imagine your third eye, it's pulsing. Some of you felt your third eye pulsing, so it's like, "Bup, bup, 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 bup," and you can actually I'm saying I personally think I can't I didn't have a mirror, but I personally think it was so beating so fast that you would have been able to see it in my forehead. Like, you would have been able to, like, feel it in my forehead, see it, and as it's slowing, a man's voice is, um, manifesting out of the music. The music, I don't even think the music was real. That sound of the harps or that string, I think it was the man's voice because it was whispering, but maybe I couldn't interpret it. I'm just assuming this, y'all. This is my interpretation. You may have a better interpretation of what you think happened, but this is what I'm logically thinking as this is going on. This is in the same time frame, okay? And this slows down to just like a beat, boom, boom, like a heartbeat, boom, and the man's voice, and he calls me something. I won't say it online because this is a name that only my family's ever called me. Remember, I'm French. So for many of you don't know, I come from a different culture. Many of you know my family, my first language is French, but there's a name that I'm called by only my family and nobody knows it. He calls me by my name, my real name, not the name on paper, not my Johnny Hancock, but my real name. And he says, "Can you hear me?" And I hesitate because I'm thinking to myself, because he says my name first. He says, "Blah, blah, blah. Can you hear me?" And it wasn't in an English accent. It wasn't in like the accent was almost like African accent. Like if someone came from Africa, maybe I've heard people from um like maybe Nigerian. It's an African accent. I can't explain it. It just doesn't sound like an English way to say it, like a person who has an English accent. It sounded more like an African accent. Um, Now I didn't write anything down because normally I do, so I'm just giving you off the riff. But he says to me that everything is as it's supposed to be, and that I shouldn't be concerned, not afraid. He didn't use that word. I shouldn't be concerned about the people that must be removed because of their participation. Now, I'm not asking questions, I'm listening because I'm in shock. It's a being on the phone. The phone is not connected. This is not mental illness. I know you're saying I don't do drugs. I wasn't doing anything crazy, okay? So I'm just telling you, people be like, "Oh, she's high." I don't do ayahuasca. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke weed. Okay, I'm very clean. I'm a very clean palate. Okay, I did have bone broth and cabbage. I made some bone broth with cabbage, okay? So, that's the only thing if you're gonna say it was linked to anything, bone broth and cabbage, okay? Um, I shouldn't be concerned. Now, he's stating, and I can't verbatim everything, his voice is really strong and powerful and very, um like I've heard people from Zimbabwe with maybe this accent. Anybody know someone from Zimbabwe? I'm just going back on how his voice sounded, the accent. Maybe like someone who speaks English from Zimbabwe, maybe, or Kenya. Maybe from Kenya. It might have been, oh, no, 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 no. It may have been an accent more Kenyan because I've heard people from Kenya. Kind of, I'm trying to give you the verbiage, the accent. Shouldn't be concerned. Everything's as it is, as it's supposed to be, and I shouldn't be concerned. And okay, so I'm gonna surmise everything because I can't give you verbatim because I can't it's not I can't give you everything that was said because it's just so much and I didn't it's kind of like disbelief, so you mute out some of what's shared with you. But oh, I'm getting ringing in my ear, y'all. Okay. I think it's Kenyan because I remember people from Kenya having an accent like this. Um, Needless to say, I'll kind of just because I know I tell you the message and I just give it to you the way I could just surmise it. They don't they're not gonna the people here in this realm where we are, they're killing off women and they're stockpiling them and they're using them as breeding apparatus. They're using their organs to sustain themselves and to stockpile, and the women and children are being used for breeding and for stockpiling. Because we're going into a time where this whole reality will totally be wiped. This whole reality we're living in is wiped. So they know whoever these beings are, and they call them something else. They call them like a name. It's not a name I've ever heard. We say Zionist and so on. It's not. That's not the word. It's they call them something. This man called them like almost like they're part of the program. Like he made it seem like these beings are part of the fabric and the construction of this program we live in, like the Matrix. They're like a byproduct of the Matrix. They're like the like cave people living, like these people that are living inside of the cracks of the matrix. And they do this because before and around every reset. Um, and then also, he said that the men, um, the way that we perceive men is the men, some were created and some weren't. So he made it seem like some of the men here are like byproducts of like geoengineering, and that they have to get rid of the men, especially men that are harmful to women. So like I can't explain it. Like like in wars back in the days, like women were never and children were never killed. Like, remember the men used to go to battle? I talked about this before. Remember the men used to go to battle and they would battle each other on the grounds and they wouldn't touch women and children. Like, we were never on the battleground. Like, we were just protected, and whatever went after the win, then they would probably come and get the women and either kill them off or infuse them into their society. Mostly infuse them, right? They never killed women and children. They see as the men that are geoengineered, they're taking them out. So men that harm women, that rape children, that are harmful to the environment, because the harmony of the environment is feminine. They're taking them out. They're going to kill them all. And that's why I say I don't know how you're going to take this message. And it doesn't matter what complexion they are. They actually uphold. They they have a very disgusting feeling about men that come from my lineage, like my what you perceive as my racial background. They don't see it as race, but like because they're supposed to protect the female planet. They're supposed to protect the female things on the planet. And they're not doing their job. They've been cohorted, they've been taken over by AI systems like mind controlled, and they are destroying women. They're being conditioned and programmed to hurt women and to destroy families. So they're going to take out all men. And what we perceive, and they said they're going to make this is just me synopsis. I can't say how he said it because I don't have the way to verbally, it's not going to be precise, but this is my take. All the messages I got about them hurting women had to do with this particular matrix that does that. So it's like the opposite. These galactics or interdimensionals, these are brown, big, black. I personally think they might be the omics. It might be a byproduct of the omics. They're coming here to clear the men. Like they're doing stuff to women here because we're from here. Like the ones here who are supposed to protect us, they aren't doing that. They're kidnapping, raping, and stockpiling and using women for fodder and for parts and other men. But these intergalactics are cleaning up the problem, and they see the men here as a problem. They're going to clear out men that are hurtful and harmful to women, that because it's like a violation of war. These are warriors, y'all, that are here. These are not the makers who are here. They sent their soldiers, y'all. Whoever this was who called me is one delegating soldiers to be here. He's not here. Whatever he is, he's someone who's like a maybe a general to where they come from, maybe someone higher up, but he's just basically letting us know as women and men, you need to stand down. And what you're seeing is not the reality. The harm that is happening is mostly here happening to women and is purposefully done. And also the mind control, all of this promoting men to sleep with men and having that is part of geoengineering. They see that as a part of um like mudding up men because they're supposed to be protectors. So in order to make us more susceptible to being taken and raped and sex trafficked and for children to be used, they have to use a form of bioterrorism against the males. And they do it via through, what we talked about, the blah, 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 right? And they also do it through biofrequencies because men, according to him, men are more biofrequency sensitive. And now we know why autism is more in males. I'm just interpreting it, y'all. Um, and any male who's out here, like hurting, beating, raping, who's ever done it, it doesn't even matter if he's changed. They're getting rid of him. These beings are here to sweep off the cancer. And they perceive that men on the planet, because they're not protecting the women, are the cancer. And in order to stop the other ones from getting away from killing off the females, they have to get rid of the problem, which is the males. That's why I say I don't know how you're gonna take it. Because if you're a healthy male, you're not hurting anyone, you're not raping anyone, you're not promoting, you're not with homeboys that do it, I don't think this is even a message that would affect you. But the majority of men here have literally, uh, um women too, I'm sure. But no, he specifically this is a man talking about men. He didn't bring up women as far as being, destroyed. He specifically said the males on this planet, it doesn't matter what background they come from, if they are it's almost like they've been sentenced. They've been sentenced already for execution. And what we're seeing on the planet is not what you so all these trickeries and poly tricks and so all that, that's bait and switch. That's just to make us see things so that we can't really qualify it. These beings here in the matrix already know that this happens and that these beings are here. They're here, y'all. They're here. And if you start to see males um like just dying out of the blue or being killed and you think it's the government or you think it's something else, it's them. It's them. Any male that's supported anything that's genocidal, supported, like, doing things that are hurtful to females because, again, this has to do y'all, I listen, I don't this is not a message that I would give because I don't really talk to I don't male, I don't even know why a male general or interdimensional would even want to contact me but it's just to basically say like for us to stand down like as women we just have to kind of like guard ourselves and just try to protect ourselves during this cleansing process. It's a purge but it's a two-way purge. The purge is one way already happened by our Willy Wonka systems, our governmental systems. They're purging women. They're going to do it and they're going to stockpile because they know that they are not going to be able to get women after this. They won't be able to access. And again I go back to the lines of war. Back in the days, you did not when men went to war, they fought with each other over lands and so on. There's a huge violation, it has to do with the inception. Men have been incepted by biochemical and also biofrequency weaponries. And because of that, they've been almost like possessed. They've been taken over, so they're not protecting women. So this is like a why would they protect the why would these soldiers come here and clear the men? It's kind of like the old practices of getting rid of the problem. When you see these men saying, "Oh, women can't rule," and so on, that's why, Mr. Kamal that's also why I think they're promoting for men to turn into women. Now I realize I don't think y'all this whole transsexualism, is what I thought it was. I think they're doing it because they don't wanna be taken out. And if they're seen as men, they think that they would be taken out quicker. So they're trying to turn the men into women so that they think that they're gonna trick these entities into not and taking them out. I think that's why. I could be wrong. You can give me your opinion. They're actually taking out men. So I think these dark Kabbalists know this. So they all are trying to push transsexualism to preserve men so that not all the men are taken out. Anyway, this is a message. I'm sorry, y'all. I you can interpret it. There's more to it. I'll probably give there's another part of this, and I'm gonna save that because it's dark. I don't I'm judging it. Maybe it's not dark, but and Kamala's not a woman. That's a man. It's a man, y'all. And if you don't even have the proper discernment and you're unable to see with clarity, it's because you're part of the problem. You're geoengineered and you've been under forms of mind control and it's working so that it's harder for you to see the truth. But there's one part I'm not gonna share it. It's a little too much. And I don't necessarily want to make you fearful, but I'm just letting you know, sea stars, stand down. Just protect yourself from the others. The Matrix has their own foot forces that are trying to take on. They're going to try to get as many women and children to put them in the underground tunnels and use them for further genetic you know, breeding. That's what, and also all the genetic testing that we're getting through, 23andMe, ancestral, whatever genetic thing, that was to make sure they could create certain bioweaponry and perfect biofrequency weaponry against certain gene pools. And also, doing all that swabbing of the nose, that was also a way to get the genetic code so that they can create more bioweaponry to attack people in the future. So we're here with one devil, but there's a group, and I don't know why they care enough to clear off the males. I can't tell you. I don't know what relationship they have to the earth, but these men they're just coming here, these galactic men, and they are melanated. He sounded like an African. Even as he's talking to me, he sounded like something you'd hear like a Zulu man say. Now, again, maybe because I could get the message, I could give it. And I don't know that he cared that I gave it or not, or maybe he just knew I would give it to you. But I'm letting you know, men, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry for you all. I am. Um, it's not good. A lot of men by default have been byproducts of harm to women. And I mean, by telling a woman to get an abortion, forcing her to, and not taking care of his children, not being a protective father, a protective brother, and a protective man. Like, because by default, they're gonna take you out. And these big melanated men, it sounds like he's coming with a force, and they're already here, y'all. They're in every place. He said they're already set up. So if you see they might cloak it as a war and say it's the war that did it. They may cloak it and say it's like um, a nuclear hit. They're gonna say things, but it's not what you think. They're gonna say it, the matrix, the politrix over here, they're gonna state it so that you don't know what it truly is. But they're here and it's not good. And it has nothing to do with anything but it's the war, it's like war rules. What they're doing here is against war rules. It's a violation. And these men, these galactic big black men, are coming here to clear up shop. And they don't care if you're brown or not. They don't care if you're lunar or not. If you're a male that's against females and have been doing harm or not protecting females, they see you as a cancer and they're going to take you out. All right, y'all. This is the message. I don't want to stay on longer. My phone is hot. I'll talk to everybody on Zoom tonight and I'll give you the rest of the message. I'll give the Zombies that, but I don't want to put it out on a public platform. It's not. I feel sorry because I don't know that if men are being byproducts and victims of bio warfare, then is it fair for them to be taken out like that? Like if they're victims too. So, but I guess in the eyes of these galactic melanated men, they're not strong enough. They have to be taken out. Like they have to be destroyed um before reset. So it's like a balancing of the beams. Anyway, so I know this isn't a great message, and I'm sorry. And please leave your opinion. Don't feel like you can leave an opinion. Just be respectful. I'm just a messenger. I don't. This is something that I wouldn't condone. I think that people like sometimes men change, like women change over time. I don't know that that's fair to take out a whole group of a sex, a gender, but that's why the transsexualism is being pushed, y'all, because they don't want all the men to be taken out because all of them are complicit in the violence and the apathy against women. So, anyway, y'all, I'll talk to you later tonight. I'm sorry, if you want to join us on Zoom, you can join us on Patreon. But, again, share your opinion. And I apologize for this. I told you at the beginning, I was like, this may not be a message you want to hear. And this has nothing to do with complexion. These brown galactics they don't care if you're brown skin. They don't care if you're lunar. If you're a violator of women and you've condoned it and you participated, they're going to take you out. It's the purge. Okay. So I wish everybody well. I'm sorry I'm hot in here and I'll talk to you later. Peace.